Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, a hearty good morning to you here on this beautiful Thursday in Tampa Bay. Oh, we got lots to get to today. My good friend Dan Lucas from News Channel 8 will be joining us around 10:15. We are efforting Sal Palantonio, who will be in town this weekend to cover the Bucks and the Jaguars. They're bringing in the big hitters, so you know it's a big game with playoff implications on the line. We'll be talking about that. Florida State's Board of Trustees has just called an emergency meeting for tomorrow. Oddly enough, I was texting with Michael Alford, the FSU athletic director, yesterday. He didn't tell me about that. But he did kind of indicate that number one, that he'll be coming on the show in January, early January, right after the bowl game. So there's we're expected to have some news, no doubt about that. And also that FSU is still very, very upset about not being to the playoff. So we'll get to that in just a second. We've got Devin White news. He spoke yesterday. I definitely have some feelings on that might be counter to a lot of other things that you're hearing. I'm just a cynical man. And, as I've been in this business for 40 years now, almost 40 years covering sports. And when I hear interviews and I see things and I read the media tea leaves, so to speak, I kind of get a feel for what's going on. Usually it's pretty accurate. So we'll get into that with Devin White and play a couple of the clips from yesterday's press conference in the locker room. The Bolts are back in action tonight against Vegas, baby. It's going to be a really, really good test. So we'll get into that, talk a little bit about the new lines we saw the other night with Nick Paul playing out on the wing with Pointer and Cooch. That seemed to definitely get some action going as they scored 6 goals the other night. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Lots of recruiting news as well. Congrats to USF. Their best recruiting class in 10 years, the best in the AAC. They got a bowl game tonight. They'll be the only team playing at 8 o'clock in prime time against the mighty Syracuse Orange. So big day for USF. We'll get into that a little bit. FSU in terms of recruiting did really well. They brought in the, depending on who you read, 4th, 5th, or 6th best class. Oddly enough, ESPN ranks them the lowest of the main rankers. ESPN hates Florida State. Ooh, man. I was just reading the article that they posted today about the emergency meeting. It is so rife with conflict of interest, but we'll get into that. But FSU did kind of lose out on KJ Bolden and Jeremiah Smith, of course, so everybody's going to say it's a terrible recruiting class. It's still a top 5 class, so hold your horses. The Gator class, in the meantime, that was ranked number 3 about a month ago, finished in the just outside the top 15, 16, depending on where you're looking at the rankings. Still a pretty good class, but when your main competition is Georgia and Alabama in your league, it's distant. So that's not where Billy Napier needed to be. What does that mean for him and his future? He did bring in the number 1 overall quarterback in DJ Lagway. So what are you going to, or Jeff Lagway? What are you going to do? These commitments now, even though they're national letter of intent, you get rid of the guy that recruited him, you're probably going to lose the quarterback at some point. So what do you do? If I'm the Gators, unless you have somebody waiting in the wings that you think is going to knock your socks off, I think you stick with Billy Napier for another year and let him build on this. Because, here's the other thing. Whoever you bring in is not going to be a winning coach. You're not going 500 with the schedule that the Gators have next year. I got news for you. It's going to be a 4th consecutive losing season, just based on talent alone. That's, if you look at the games they're playing, where they're playing them, their talent level versus they're going to be significant underdogs in a majority of the games they play. Can they eke out a winning season? Yeah, hopefully they can. Hopefully they can. And listen, I'm a Knoll, but I am forever in the corner of all Florida teams. You want to see them do well. It's always best for FSU when Florida is doing well. And had Florida had a better record this year, it certainly would have helped Florida State in terms of getting, well, actually it wouldn't have because they were never getting in. But at least on paper, it would have looked better. It would have been harder for the committee to pull the shenanigans they pulled had Florida had a better record. That's my point. But yeah, it is it's better when all the teams are doing well. Miami did well. Miami brought in a top 10 class. Once again, that's their second straight top 10 class, which they haven't done in, I think, 20 years. So Miami is on the come in terms of talent. I still have a lot of question marks about their coaching staff and Mario Cristobal. It's clear that they have major issues in managing games, but their talent level is getting back to where it is. And I think you can say that about all three, even though the Gators class is at 16, these high school recruiting classes do not hold the pop that they once had because, look at Georgia. They had the number one recruiting class last year, and I think they had 15 guys enter the portal, most of which came from that class and didn't play in their first year. And of course, they're on the run. So these classes don't mean as much as they used to. Now, they do mean a lot because, they have historically, because their last 10 national champions had an average of top 5 classes for at least 3 years in a row, which, by the way, is not the case for this year's playoff, except for one team. Can you guess which one? Alabama. The other 3 do not have said recruiting classes on average, a top 5 average in the last 5 years. Washington obviously being the most distant. So very interesting. All right, so let's get into it. And I want to begin with the Devin White saga. Yesterday, Devin, give you a little bit of the timeline, catch you up. We talked a lot about it over the past week. And again, we should not be talking about it at all. If this was handled correctly, we should not be talking about it at all. And what I'm about to say is probably going to be a little bit off the reservation for what a lot of the other media folks are saying, and I'm okay with that. But I'll tell you why. What went down yesterday, I ain't buying. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on Todd Bowles and Devin White. So as we know, last week he practiced fully Thursday and Friday. Everyone expected Devin White to be ready to go. And the problem was KJ Britt has been playing really good football, better football than Devin White has played this year. That's not debatable. And to put Devin White in as a starter would have completely short-circuited any momentum that you've had in this 2-3 game winning streak, right? And it would hurt your team. Just quite frankly, on the field, it's going to hurt your team. He is not as good as KJ Britt right now. That's a fact. Look at the tape. Does he have potential to be good? I'm tired of talking about his potential. The guy doesn't play hard. He doesn't play smart. He's a liability. Those are the facts. And it's not just me saying that. PFF, anybody who looks at the tape will tell you the same damn thing. So he's told, as he should have been told, that he's going to be in a rotational situation with KJ Britt. Of course, why would you just start him? That's ridiculous in this situation. At least Todd Bowles was smart enough to do that. And of course, all the reports were at that time from Stacey Dales, from Rick Stroud, from the Pewter Report, everybody that was there. And Richard Sherman, who backed that up, who spoke with many of his former teammates, that was the issue. So Todd Bowles comes out on Monday and says, no, tries to redo the timeline. And, I'm sorry. What you said was a bunch of word salad. They were trying to cover up what happened. It's clear as day. So I'm not buying any of that. And it's also, again, you have to look at the history of the people involved. Completely on brand for Todd Bowles to come out and try to cover for Devin White, right? Completely on brand for the organization to let him do it. Completely on brand for Devin White to do what he did, which is say, I'm not going to go now because I'm going to be a rotational player. These are all things that are on brand, folks. This is part of what we've seen historically from all of them, right? Right. That's important in the situation. So yesterday, they bring Devin White out to address the media. Now, where have we seen this before? Where have we seen it before? It was the same thing that happened in the offseason. Same thing. He goes off and acts all selfish. I want a $100 million contract. I'm not getting my contract extension. I want to be traded. Me. Little memes of Philadelphia. Looks like they pay their people in Philadelphia. Blah, blah, blah. Star on the helmet. All the little, middle school, Instagram, social media, cryptic bullshit. Right? No, don't stand in front of the microphone and talk to the media. Tell everybody what's going on. No, we're going to do all this cryptic middle school stuff. Okay, that's on brand for Devin White. That's who he is, right? So right before the season, we got a problem, right? Is he going to show up? Or is he going to hold out? No, he sits down with the people that care about him, Todd Bowles, Levante David, and the people that he respects, hopefully, said, dude, what are you doing, man? Larry Foote, what are you doing? Larry Foote even stood at the podium and said, go earn your money. You want $100 million, go earn it. That's the way it works in this league. He was the only one that wanted to hold Devin White accountable. But thank you for doing that. And so what did the organization got with him, told him what to say. We're going to trot you out at the beginning of training camp or the first week. Here's what you say. Let's make this right. I'm a team player. I'm all in. All that stuff I did in the offseason, forget about it. Okay. Right. I'm in. I'm going to go play. I'm going to do everything. Great. Goes out, has a great first game, and then what happens? Turns into the same selfish guy. Not running off script, trying to make big splash plays so he can go get his money. Team's taking advantage of that. They know he's over-aggressive, completely bad fundamentally. Can't get off a block. Same stuff. Same stuff. Terrible. One of the worst graded linebackers out there. Bad tape. Against Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts throws the football right into his belly. It's a pick six. All you got to do is beat the quarterback. And what did Devin White do? He ran out of bounds. A middle linebacker, a linebacker in the NFL is one-on-one with a quarterback. I know he squats a lot and he's a bigger quarterback. I get that. But you run out of bounds? You run out of bounds because you're hurt? Never seen it before in my life. And for my money, not enough was made of it. Selfish play again. Don't want to get hurt. Don't want to run over my buddy. Whatever. Not about team. So all this stuff is on brand for Devin White. So yesterday, they trot him out again. Right? We're gonna make it all right. Then we're gonna put you back in the lineup. And you know what you're gonna get? You're gonna get the same thing you got the last time. This is not rocket science, folks. You enable people, they show you who they are again and again and again. And you know whose fault it is? The enablers. And here we go, enabling Devin White again. So let's listen in to Devin White yesterday as his mea culpa and see how much it sounds eerily similar to what we heard before the season. Here we go.
Yeah. Including myself in that. Why that is, why there's misinformation that comes out of this building.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I can only speak from what I know and what I went through and what I personally deal with. I don't know. I know I don't have to tell no lies, and it is what it is. Everybody. I don't know. Somebody might want to give you something to talk about to make the Bucks be talked about, but I don't know. Baker went crazy last week, and we talking about Devin White. I don't think I shouldn't even been mentioned in the game why I didn't play in the true love, besides being the biggest cheerleader that I could be in Green Bay. So other than that, I don't know, man. But kudos to it. I face everything head on, and it's just another stepping stone in my journey that I'm willing to face, and the story's gonna be great in the end. So make sure they give you more information in the end when I'm on the right side of it.
Yeah. So yeah, saying all the right things. It's the same thing we heard preseason. And what happened? Devin went out and was Devin. He didn't play hard, playing not to get hurt, whatever. And I don't, I never want to question guys' injuries. It's not fair. We don't know. But, if you're out there, and that's why this is the deal in the NFL, and everybody knows that. If you're out there, you're playing. There are no excuses. I don't want to hear, oh, my foot was hurt. That's why Gardner Minshew juked me at the goal line. I don't want to hear that, because guess what? I've been watching you play for 5 years. You play the same way. You come running in like your hair on fire. all out of control. Guy stops and goes where you go right by. How many times have we seen it? Totally, fundamentally unsound. That's who you are. It ain't because you're hurt. So I ain't buying any of it. This is the Bucs organization enabling a guy that is all about himself in the middle of a 3-game run where you're trying to make the playoffs, and we're focused. And because of you, it's not my fault. This is the Bucs could have ended this whole thing by putting him on a restricted list, did what they did with Keyshawn, and shut him up and get him out of here. Because I got news for you, he ain't going to help you on the field. You know, he might make a couple of splash plays, but if he's playing as a starter, he's going to be the same liability he's always been. Sorry to tell you. And you, Todd Bowles, have enabled this guy, and now he's the focus instead of your football team. And that's wrong. And that's wrong. And what you did yesterday by putting him out there, I was wrong. That's not the way you handle it. That's not the way Bruce Arians would have handled it. It's not the way Mike Tomlin. Do you see the way Mike Tomlin is handling that situation up there with his receiver, Pickens? Yeah. Not like this. Not enabling him. It's not happening. And this is why Todd Bowles is a losing head coach in my mind. Love him to death. He's a great dude. He's too compassionate. He loves Devin White. Loves him like a son. But this ain't helping him. Like with your kids, sometimes it's tough love. That's what you need to do. And this ain't it. All right. I'm going to bring in our good friend Dan Lucas from News Channel 8. What's up, Dano? How are you?
Yeah, JP, man. I'm chilling out on the
I
patio
see.
office today, man. It's great. A little bright out today. It's gorgeous outside.
This is
The
when we
show
love being in
outside
Florida,
today.
baby. This is when we love being in
Absolutely.
Florida. Yeah.
I heard, so I listened to your comments there just now about Devin White, and I honestly, I'm in line with that. I'm a Todd Bowles guy because we have a pretty close relationship
He's
with
a
him.
great dude. I love him.
Just so our conversations with him, we keep him private, but we get to know him a little bit. He is everything you just said, compassionate about people,
Yes.
and then compassionate about his coworkers, compassionate about his players. Every single guy on that team, he cares. So I'll take the coaches back in that sense, but it does become detrimental to, and this is all pro sports. It's, as they say, show business, not show friends. And this is a case where it's getting into a little bit of a trouble at a time when, unfortunately, we should be talking about this team on the upswing that last week to me looked like one of the better teams in the league.
Yeah.
So when you're trending in a certain direction in December, you're either elite or you're not elite, or you're one of those teams that's right on the cusp, and the Bucs are on the cusp. And we're talking about this. It's just crazy how you would let this fester, how the coaching staff would let this fester into this type of this conversation makes it sound like the Bucs are 2-13 right now.
Yeah.
That's how embarrassing this conversation is, and it also takes away from how well KJ Britt has played and how he has justified his position on the field. The way his play just ironically coincides with the play of the defense and the team overall.
Yeah.
So KJ Britt. My point is KJ Britt's one of the pieces
Yes.
that has helped this team turn a corner here in December. And I think a lot of people had fun watching that game against the Packers the other day, and he's one reason.
Yeah. And I don't think this is coincidence at all, to be quite frank. I think Devin White's absence has been a big reason why this team has played more together, that they're winning games because, Dan, you see it as I see it. We've all seen it on tape. How many times have key plays, especially in the red zone, been Devin White's fault? A lot. I mean, you go back to the Atlanta game when he ran up on Desmond Ridder and they just jumped it right over his head for a 40-yard gain to set up a key score. We've seen it in the playoff game against Dallas. Every team targets Devin White because they know he's uber aggressive. They know he can't cover. And when you have a weakness like that in your lineup, teams attack it relentlessly. And the way you counter that is you remove the player or you get the player to play better. And clearly it's been 5 years. He ain't learned. He was a selfish player. He goes off script, and that's why he's a liability. And that's why when KJ Britt is in there, he may not be as fast as Devin White, but he knows where to be. Guys can count on him where he's going to be, and that makes the entire defense better. And by the way, I saw him covering Aaron Jones out of the backfield. Looked pretty damn good to me. Tackling him a couple of times in some key situations short of the first down. So to me, if you put KJ Britt on the bench, what kind of message are you signaling to the rest of the team? It's insane.
Well, the teams that scout the Bucs see what you've just said, what you've just described, and the fact that KJ Britt has come in and contributed so well at a time when the team is picked up its game, and now they're entering basically every game now is almost a championship game for the Bucs, not an elimination game, and to make a drastic change like that, if you're going to put a liability on the field, what does that tell the locker room? That's my thing.
Right.
And I agree, Devin White, at his best, he's so fun to watch with his speed to the ball and reacting to the ball. But that position, and look how Levante David plays that position. It is an intelligent position. It's an intelligent position. It's just not see ball, get ball. It's see ball and knowing what is around you at the same time that you're pursuing the football. And the glaring examples are the red zone issues. Remember Pat Mahomes last year, bringing him out to the 5-yard line, then just chucking a ball over his head into the end zone. It was embarrassing. The Minshew play.
Yes.
But it's just, he has to change the way he is pursuing if he wants to last in this league, because he's coming into free agency. You would have to presume, okay, if the signs are here that he's not going to be here, then he's not going to be here. Well, who's going to want what they see on the film?
Yeah. Or the way he acts, I mean, I'm sure they sat him down like they did before the season and said, hey, man, you're killing your marketing. You're killing your marketability as a free agent by doing this stuff. But we'll try and help you and cover for the bullshit that you pulled on Sunday. Were you in Green Bay, by the way?
No, we didn't go up there this weekend.
Yeah.
So I was a little surprised at the injury report. That's the other side of this. And I don't, I know it's being the league is looking into it and this and that.
Yes, of course they are.
Coach had what amounts to me as a simple explanation that the conversations took place certain day and time after, injury reports were out. So I don't know what the rules are in a Saturday situation and a Sunday. If you're going to wait till somebody's
that's just like they updated Josh Hayes. Before the game.
I mean, sometimes guys, but there's guys with the flu.
Right.
They come in there and you don't know what they're going to do. Jalen Hurts.
He had the toe flu. The toe flu.
Yeah.
Fired up on him.
We didn't know Jalen Hurts' status until they literally flew a separate plane to Seattle.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
There's updates all the time, so that whole explanation didn't fly. It didn't.
But I just feel that the player needs to take on something here, and not just advertise yourself as a dog or whatever you want to call yourself, and then go
Get
out.
live 45.
I just go out and play the game and look around you. Everybody has picked up their game.
Yeah.
And just conform.
Yeah.
Just conform. You guys will be an unstoppable defense with a Devin White in there who's effective. Unstoppable.
I mean, I can see, I don't want to fall for this. I told you, I would have deactivated him. I would have Keyshawned him. I wouldn't release him because then he'll go play for, the Saints next week, or at least go into their locker room. We don't need any of that shenanigans. I would have found a way. If he's hurt, okay, put you on the injured reserve. You can't go. It's 3 weeks in a row. Our doctor, you can find a way. All right.
Right.
I would remove him from this whole conversation and everything. He's not helping you on the field, so why have him around? But that said, if you're going to keep him around, and let's use him as a situational pass rusher, and that's it. That's it. I'm not letting him do anything else. I'm like, okay, go on the field, rush the passer, and then come back. That's it. I mean, because that's his only. I mean, he's really good at that. I mean, he doesn't break down, and he runs past the quarterback most of the time, but at least that usually runs him into somebody else. So he's quick enough to be a positive force there. But other than that, and maybe KJ gets hurt, he's the best option at that point. But I don't know. I would rather, and here, and we'll transition into talking about Baker Mayfield. I would rather talk about Baker Mayfield and his renaissance. And I have to caution people because he had such an unbelievable game in a great spot at Lambeau, perfect, all that stuff. Let's not forget, he was a couple of a series, maybe one series away from getting removed from the Panthers game. It was bad. The 2 previous weeks were really, really bad. I think his ankle had something to do with that. He looked healthier in Green Bay. But, I've been a huge fan of him all year long, but I'm going to point out that, he had a rough patch there for a while. But I finally think that he said, I'm going to let it rip. I'm going to let it rip. I'm about to get replaced, so I might as well let it rip. And it played really, really well. And him as a gunslinger, and he gets his confidence going. Wow, this could be something special for the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I've since day one I've been pro Baker. Even when they hit that, when they got off to the good start, and then things started to come into reality a little bit, and that's when people were bagging on the season. It was back in week 5 or 6. Well, we might as well just pull the plug here and just blow this up. But I thought you can't look. Granted, what the team is in, the situation with the cap, we knew in 2023, 2 years ago, we knew that 2023 was going to be a difficult challenge to field a team, let alone be competitive because of the cap. This is the situation you're in. Let's work with it. They brought a coordinator in here who's brand new at this job. He's going to get better, and I think he's a big part of what Baker did Sunday. And I think that, remember, we go back to the original introduction of Dave Canales, and it was Baker is not here to be a hero. He's here to distribute the ball to our playmakers, and that's what this offense will do. And it didn't do that. Why? Because they weren't running. And now that has picked up, and they've found other ways to use Rachaad White, everything is picked up around it. I'm beginning to believe in the offense.
Yeah.
And I think Baker's a part of that. I don't even think Baker had to be a hero on Sunday. I think it just happened within the offense. I give a lot of credit to a lot of people. And there were tons of yards after the catch in that game, which is, again, what Dave Canales said at the beginning. We got to get it to our playmakers and let them make things happen. And
he was hitting guys in stride, man. Yeah, he was hitting guys in strides and the seams, and the Packers defense certainly helped. That's
sure.
We'll say thanks. Thank you, Joe Barry.
Absolutely, but no, I'm very curious to see how Baker performs this weekend. I expect the Bucs to play pretty well, actually, since given the scenarios that have popped up, and it's real now. I mean, there's no speculation of if this, if that.
Yeah.
You win your games. You're looking at a chance to be, hit last year's win total with the great Tom Brady, and then go beyond that with this roster that was slapped together with a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
I think it speaks a lot to a lot of people, especially Baker, who is here to save his career.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a good story.
It's a great story, and I think I saw a stat the other day of teams that have more than like $45 million in dead cap money, which I think the Bucs lead the league, and maybe it's close to 70 or something. Like historically, those teams win like 2 or 3 games. That's it. And there's a long list of data points here. And this team is going to win. It's going to win 8 at least, probably 9. And if they go 10-7, give Jason Light a lifetime contract, and Todd Bowles as well, not lifetime. I still don't. I knew you were going to get. You got to get a qualifier there. Listen, and that's what these last 3 games are about. If Todd Bowles coaches the way he coached in Green Bay, or we're aggressively using his timeouts. Holy crap, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
Aggressively going for it on 4th down with 5.5 minutes left at the 41, the plus 41. I mean, he never does that. He usually punts, gives up a possession for 22 yards of field position, and then in 2 plays, they're right back where you would have been if you failed on 4th down. So finally, we got through that hurdle. And guess what? They converted. What do you know? And
remember early in the season when he did that? And I jokingly said, "Is he Riverboat Todd?"
Yeah,
and
yes.
but
it worked.
And good things were happening.
Yes.
What was the game that he took he passed up on a long field goal and went for the first down? It was a critical first down.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
earlier in the year.
When they were
Somebody,
going 3-1, and then it's like
yes,
when he got
yes,
successful, he pulled back into the turtle shell,
yeah,
and went conservative. And then I think against in these last 3 games, certainly against Green Bay, and he seems to do it more on the road than he does at home. He just has to get past this idea that if you're up 2 scores, the game's over, and you can
right,
go into a too high shell and win the game. And that's the exact way you don't win games. And so he coached aggressively. So if he continues to coach aggressively, continues to keep Devin White off the field, and allows Canales to do what because I kind of felt like watching Canales call plays last week that Todd Bowles' shadow had been removed, and he was
right,
like letting it rip a little bit as a play caller. The whole thing seemed uber aggressive. The entire thing, the way Baker was playing, the way Bowles was
yeah,
coaching, the way Canales was coaching, the way everything seemed uber aggressive. The team played with energy, and I was like, yeah, this is what we've been waiting to see. And if they play like that, they're finishing 10-7, same as the
yeah.
Miami Dolphins, by the way. We'll finish.
Well,
Think about that for a second.
These first down runs that are going 5 and 6 yards, which is that's isn't it amazing what happens when you can do that? They're starting to do that,
Yeah.
and it's setting things up. And by the way, kudos, great job on the offensive line through all of this.
Aaron Stinney.
They have maintained, knock on wood. They've all gotten on the field. Tristan Wirfs has played hurt a little bit, but he's still, a 75% Tristan Wirfs is better than 100% many others.
Yep.
And just great job by the line. And I had asked him, the run game was in the game 2 weeks ago where they just kind of imposed their will. What is that like for an O lineman?
Yeah.
And he says when you can get the better of your opponent in the run game, that is the ultimate win for the O line. So that's just a confidence builder for that group together. Every time you go to practice, now you feel like you have a purpose.
Yep.
You're working on something because you're going to impose your will, which is how teams win in December and January. Impose your will. So
it sets the tone. It sets the tone for the game, the physicality. That's when you bury your guy, and you come back the next play. It's like, yeah, here I come. We ain't gonna stop. And they're on their toes the whole time, and that's just the way it looked was just it was good. And I hope, and now if they can, I think they can beat Jacksonville. But even if they don't, the Saints, obviously, that game is uber important. You beat the Saints at home, then all you have to do is beat a 2-win Carolina team on the road in Week 17 to win the NFC South. And if you can't do that, you don't deserve the division. Simple as that. So it's all there in front of you. This game is important, but it ain't that important. So I would love to see the momentum continue. You stay healthy, and whether Trevor Lawrence plays or not, I can't believe I'm saying this. They got a chance to win.
Yeah,
and I don't know what his status is. Have you heard anything more on his concussion status?
Still in the protocol as of yesterday. So
yeah, and typically, if you're a quarterback in the protocol, you don't play. I think it's happened maybe once. So
and I don't think that decision is made till the end of the day, Friday, anyways. So they'll take that as long as possible, just to be sensible. But I think that put yourself in the shoes of Mike Evans right now. The guys, and the core that were on the Super Bowl team. This you're starting to feel it.
Yeah,
and that should be the benefit of winning that Super Bowl that year. There's a way you should feel in December, and a way you should perform and approach your business in December. And it's not to protect my job or look ahead to an opportunity next year. It's to get to the stupid playoff tournament. And I think that the mindset is collective. On that sense, and I think it's a good thing for sure. Despite the distraction that came up over the weekend.
We began this conversation with
the only word I can assign to it is just weird. It's just weird. I think it's just weird, the whole aura of it, especially in a scenario where when the off season's coming up and you have the A list of guys you need to take care of,
right?
And you're talking yourself, or you're Twittering yourself off of the A list. I don't understand it.
He's cost himself a lot of money.
Well,
But
they're not out of the woods in this coming off season. That's the thing I'm trying to point out.
yeah,
And when you do the math, it doesn't seem like there's a way to keep that core. So you're thinking, well, somebody's out.
well, Devin's out. I mean, that's not.
It
That's
has,
like,
yeah. That's what to me is what it's adding up to.
unless he has 10 sacks the next few weeks and suddenly decides to play like he did in the Super Bowl season, which I don't anticipate. By the way, I'd love to see David Moore take over the number 3 slot as a receiver.
Oh yeah,
that guy.
Savvy, well, except for holding the football low at the 1 yard line on going in the end zone.
God.
Let's just hope that message was driven home.
Yeah, fundamentally,
yeah, he is sharp, and he's grasped the offense quickly as we knew he would.
Right. Why has he not been playing?
System.
This is another one of these weird personnel choices. After what we saw in training camp, I'm like, well, okay, and it's not like the guy's a rookie. And he made a couple of catches, like Palmer did, and you say, okay, then he's your number 3. This guy's been around. He knows it. And I mean, the burst that we saw, holy crap, he ran away from it, breaks 2 tackles and runs away from everybody. And you got to say, where the hell's this guy been? And by the way, and he's got to, I'm sure Trey Palmer might be a good player down the line, but clearly he ain't ready. He's had plenty of opportunity. This guy gets one opportunity, steps in and does, but he's your guy. You need a legitimate number 3 target moving forward, and you got him. And again, why is this? I'm like, how many other Pro Bowlers are on the practice squad? This is what I need to know. Like, this team sits guys like Stinney and Nick Leverett last year. I mean, we go through it ad nauseum. KJ Britt, obviously. I mean, better players are not playing, and that is a huge problem with this team. All right, I wanted to move on to a couple other things with you, my friend, while I have you here. Curious what's going on with the Rays in 2 ways. Well, we knew Glasnow was going to get traded. Okay, we knew that was happening. I don't understand, once again, all the metrics people telling me how with this huge haul that we got back for Glasnow, I don't see it. I see a 2, a 3+ pitcher, maybe a 2, and a guy that used to be a switch hitter that looks like he could have some but nothing proven on either one of them, I think, at any level, at major league level. So you give up a talent like Glasnow and you don't get back anybody who's proven at the major league level. I don't see that as a win. Because I'm not saving the money. The money's not going into my pocket, so I don't care. And then there seems to be a lot of consternation on this council about, as I thought there would be, about how much money they're spending on this stadium and what the name of the team's going to be. And the fact that this $6.5 billion project might go up in the air because they can't agree on what the name of the team is going to be is so on brand for the Rays and the city of St. Petersburg. I can't stop laughing. Well,
I said from the start that when it was announced in the press conference and the renderings and everything was put out, and this is it, we're moving forward. I think I said to you, I'll believe it when a shovel goes into the ground.
We've seen this movie before.
We've just been here before.
4 times, actually.
As far as the deal, the Glasnow deal and the Margot attached to it, I'm looking at it as 15 years of deals. And some of it to shed payroll, some of it to truly stock up on prospects, which they may well have done here. I don't really dive into the prospects. When they get to the major league level, sometimes they're hot and sometimes they're not. But I think what aggravates Rays fans now is the future. Well, when is the future the present? And Glasnow was still coming off of a Tommy John year. You didn't discover exactly what you had. Given the rotations, injuries last year, and the fact that they were scraping this thing together most of the season, it just seems like an asset that you can't part ways with. For a team that is not going to doesn't seem like anyway, is going to make drastic moves this winter through free agency because the root of the roster is in place, the core, I guess you could say, of players who navigated them through last year's minefield of injuries. Why is Glasnow not a piece of that for me? This isn't a contract extension. It's not an
No.
issue that you're dealing with that's going to bite you in 2024. I just thought it was weird that and it was a national topic,
Yeah.
even during the postseason when they were looking at big deals coming in the winter. Glasnow was on there. I thought, why the hell would you? Why are they moving Glasnow? He was brought here as part of a deal before,
and it's almost expected. Like, I know, well, it's expected because we know Stu's not going to pay him $25 million. The day the contract was signed, I told everybody, and everybody's, oh, look, they're spending money. I'm like, they'll never pay him $25 million.
right?
Never. They're going to dump him. But to your point, it's right. It's like everybody is so brainwashed. Like Tyler Glasnow, when he's healthy, is a top 5 pitcher in the league. Top 5 pitcher. And as I said to everybody, as we sit here today, is this team better with Joey DeLuca and Pepio? I mean,
Right.
no disrespect, and I may not even be getting the names right because I don't care. You know,
Right.
they're to steal Blake Snell's immortal words, they're slapdick prospects when you compare them with Tyler Glasnow. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, the dude's a legitimate number 1, and the last time I checked, you need those guys in the postseason. And this clearly shows that they don't give a rip about the postseason, and they don't
Yeah.
care about paying players. It's all about, and they trot out their Littells and Zach Eflin and Cervales, and yes, they'll all have sub 3.4 ERAs, and they'll have 75 pitchers, 40 of them will have Tommy John, and they'll have the best pitching staff in the regular season, and they'll do squadoosh in the postseason. I'm sorry, tired of seeing it. How about you? And then the other part is, if you're going to save the money, I don't want to see the $70 million payroll. The 36 goes on top of the 70. If all of you people are like, well, we're going to have this money to go do other things. Okay, I'll play that. We'll play that. Since when has he ever gotten rid of the money and then added it to the payroll? Since never. It goes right into his back pocket, and we're supposed to cheer that? Oh, Stu's made more money this year. Yay. Go Rays. Go Rays.
Yeah.
The most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it is. And if you go back to the postseason, well, the past 2 postseasons, ironically, it wasn't about pitching. Unfortunately for the Rays, it was the group of guys that you expect to come through at the plate that just got manhandled in their last 4 postseason games. 5, if you go back to the Red Sox elimination game 3 years ago. The postseason Rays baffle me.
Yeah.
And the thing that bothers me is the perplexed look on Kevin Cash's face. Who
that's what happens when you face elite pitching,
Well, Kevin Cash, who I think is an absolute master.
He is. He's a witch.
When he's a poker player. You never know what that guy's thinking. But when he has a look on his face in the dugout in the 7th inning of a postseason game, like, what the hell am I supposed to do? That to me is I just want to raise the white flag.
Well, it's easy. Just look down the bench and go get that proven hitter Juan Soto, Bryce Harper. Oh wait. Who do I got? Who do I got down there?
Oh man, I tell you. Well, I tell you this on the Soto deal. It's not helping the Yankees. The lineup on paper looks awesome, but they have a track record of recent years too. They got to overcome.
Yeah,
and there's a spending money on guys who go on that.
At least they're trying.
Yeah.
At least they're trying. I'm done with that. Hey, last question.
The fact that the Orioles struggled in the postseason too was after the Rays and Orioles went toe to toe for half a year.
The regular season is meaningless, right? It's like hockey almost. It's like there's two. It's like a different sport because of the way they space out the games, right? In baseball's postseason, and you don't need, the Braves' strength is that they know how to manage a 40-man roster better than anybody else through the regular season. Yeah. They bring, platoon guys, bring guys up and down, pitchers get matchups. I mean, they're freaking, but that's the regular season. That doesn't happen in the postseason. You only need two starters, 2 knock dead starters, and a third kind of good one, a good bullpen, is going to be huge. And then some proven hitters, some proven major league hitters that can step up to the plate and don't have holes in their swings and you can't pitch around in the lineup, a bona fide lineup. And you even saw that with Arizona, right? I mean, they went out and spent some money and those guys came through. Not all the time, but in the postseason. So I don't think it's a mystery. You got to spend money to have postseason success. And the Rays, at least under Stu, are never going to do that. Hopefully he sells the team, and hopefully they, don't make this huge mistake in St. Petersburg, but it remains to be seen. No shovels in the dirt yet.
Shovels in the dirt, no.
Not yet.
Until the shovels are in the dirt, it's an open topic.
I mean, can you imagine them saying, okay, can you imagine the council going, all right, unless it's the St. Pete Rays, you don't get any money. And the Rays going, all right, screw it.
Yeah, right. That would be when that first came out, I thought it was some type of joke.
I still listen. Here's the deal. I think this is exactly what the Rays are looking for. This is their way out because they were going to get out anyway. All they wanted to do was get the development rights and sell them to Hines, which they've done. And they didn't have to guarantee a stadium to get the development rights and all the, get the money, get the land at a discount. They've already done that. They've already secured that. And Hines now has the development rights to that beautiful area at pennies on the dollar. And who's getting the kickback from that? Stu Sternberg. So if they never build a stadium there, Hines still has the development contract, which is what Stu wanted in the first place. That's all he remembered. And now he's going to sell the team. Hines is going to develop it, make all the money. St. Pete's going to be, what are we going to build here now? Well, hopefully you'll be smart and you'll build a convention center, or maybe use the money to build a cruise port on your coast.
Right.
Because all these ships that can't get under the damn skyway, think how much money that would bring to.
Right.
But why would we do that? Let's build a stadium where nobody will come to. Hey, you have any thoughts on this FSU deal? I know we talked about the snub, but it continues. Now they're having an emergency meeting of Board of Trustees tomorrow.
Yeah. No one has leaked details of the the agenda, so I would have to imagine that it includes where they stand on this entire ACC thing. I think that the dollar amount is something they can get to, but it's going to be difficult to get out. I think the attention needs to be all full force get out. They're being made fun of for it in some national media circles, but right now it's survival and get out.
Yeah,
while you can. I think they need to establish that route, and they need to figure out who's coming with them, because if this Big Ten thing happens, they got to bring somebody with them.
Yeah.
And the whole footprint and marketability thing comes into play. But for FSU, it's the dollar amount. Make it happen as quickly as possible and just get out of this league. I hope that's on the agenda.
Yeah, I think that is. And the fact that it's an emergency meeting obviously says there's something of timeliness here that needs to be done, which is interesting. Like, what the hell's going on right now? They're not going to leave the conference tomorrow. That timing isn't right. They have to wait till next year, right before the season. There's some things that go into, the calendar. So they're not going to announce that. I don't think. But what's interesting, this ESPN thing is versus Florida State. And I'm not leaving this. This is because the grant of rights deal is with ESPN. That's correct. The deal that has locked FSU in till 2036. It was a fraudulent deal when it was put together. It's 50 to 60% below market value, which is the reason FSU needs to get out. Why did that happen? Who signed that deal? Who the hell did this through 2036? And does their brother work for ESPN? The answer is yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes, Boo Corrigan. So this ESPN is in a huge conflict of interest situation here. They run the college football playoff. They're the ones who pick the people on the committee. They're the ones that have a secret ballot for a football poll. Why is it secret? It's football. Okay.
Right.
So they can manipulate the whole damn thing. And shocking development, they leave out the team that wanted to bust up the ACC and cost them hundreds of millions of dollars for two teams in the SEC. Oh, JP, Texas is not in the SEC. Yes, they are. They are now. And so is Alabama. And guess who has the new SEC contract starting next year? The full SEC contract that includes Texas.
Yes. Yep.
ESPN. And who basically creates the narratives for college football? ESPN. And so you think FSU is going to the SEC? Who owns the ESPN? No, not happening. They're going to the Big Ten, where Fox is the partner, and Fox needs to be a part of this postseason deal. And ESPN should not be controlling college football and who gets into the playoff and who doesn't. Is that fair?
Fox needs the footprint.
Yes,
in SEC country that FSU would bring them, and Clemson or North Carolina would bring them as well. I think it's a win-win for Fox
and Miami.
That Florida and Miami as well. I hate to leave. Sorry to leave Miami out of it because everybody keeps saying Clemson, Carolina would be a reasonable. And by the way, Boo Corrigan's NC State program is just waving in the wind there, ready to become a G5 conference when they fill in with who knows.
Yeah, they could go to the Big Ten, but he doesn't want them to because he's in the back pocket of ESPN. They're trying to keep that league together, right? Everything they can do because they make so much money off of it. Yeah, and they make money off of FSU, which is the most disgusting part of it. They got to be prostituted by ESPN.
Well, I'm very happy to see that the program, Florida State program, has clawed its way back into this scenario because its brand had suffered for a little while just based on football alone. But yeah, I think the Florida State coming back to prominence is the best thing that's happened to the ACC because it was a Clemson and a bunch of nobodies for 5 years. So I think it's only makes sense to have those two be the top teams that would want to pursue this. I think the TV deal that you're talking about. Remember that it was SEC Network, the Texas Longhorns channel or Texas Longhorns Network, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then the Big Ten Network had launched independently of ESPN, obviously.
Yeah.
And the ACC was in cahoots with ESPN to launch an ACC to have its credibility.
Yeah.
And
as we know, by the way,
3
years later, after the SEC launches, minimal investment in the ACC network, not the huge, but the stuff they put into the SEC. It was almost like
it looks like cable access.
Yeah, exactly.
No offense to anybody, but when you watch the SEC network, sometimes you think you're watching ESPN.
Yeah, you are.
but I mean the main network.
Right, exactly. It's a running joke in in producer circles. It's like, oh, that's go watch the Billy Packer or what that
show in the morning. Yeah, Packer and
which I love. I love. They're great. They're hilarious. A lot of the folks I've worked with in the past, but it's like in their closet, like they're doing it. It's like my show. Like they're doing it from the closet here.
I mean, look, you got
some dude on a patio in Tampa and some guy, in his man cave.
We should be on a network right now. We're qualified. Exactly.
Yeah, hilarious.
Now, I hope this agenda spells out a concrete path, maybe a timeline even of how this is going to happen. And then go ahead, be the butt of the jokes all you want. Just move forward as a program. Orange Bowl, be damned. All this other stuff, who cares? Just move forward as best you can for your existence, which is to get out and get into that other league under the Fox umbrella and just go forward from there because we are closer than farther away from complete irrelevance for many football programs. It's going to be a sad day when that happens. There's going to be some old time college football programs that are going to be irrelevant.
Yeah.
So you got to get yours. Get yours while you can. As they say in business, you adjust or die.
Yeah. Hey, you get USF tonight against the Orange, top recruiting class in the last 10 years, man.
Syracuse kind of limping into the game a little bit there, missing their quarterback.
Yeah.
And obviously they have an interim coach. Doesn't mean that's a guaranteed USF win, but the reason I like USF in this game is because they are on the upswing, pure momentum.
Yep.
And they're talented, and I think that they could catch Syracuse just kind coming down here to hang out in the sun for a
Yeah.
few days. And Alex Golish has everything to gain by showing out tonight on national television.
Yeah, this
He's
is the
he's had two cracks at it. Well, this will be the second. His first was the Alabama game, where I think USF stole the show.
yeah, they did.
As much as ESPN made it about what is wrong with Bama, what is wrong with Bama? Well, they eventually had to give some credit to this USF defense.
Yeah.
And once they got everything together offensively, they started to turn the corner a little bit. Now let's see where Alex Golish has this program at the end of in December, how you usher in the offseason and continue the transfers and that. And so Golish was asked about the FSU snub, and he chose his words carefully, as any coach would. But
Oh yeah, he
said,
needs to stay in the good graces of ESPN.
Well, he needs, because if USF gets to the pinnacle or the mountaintop, there's something in it for him as well. So that's why he's going to choose his words. But he did say to me, "Hopefully, we have this problem here in a year or two." So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's a guy who he's been through it and knows his time on the Tennessee staff.
Yeah,
he's no dummy. He knows how this works.
The conflict of interest with ESPN owning this college football now it's never been more apparent. I don't understand why more people aren't like upset about it. It's like, how does that work? How does ESPN now run college football? I think the NCAA,
I think there's been a bit of a backlash.
Yeah,
nationally on Florida State, that there's now FSU's a bunch of whiners.
Yeah, I saw that on PTI yesterday. Yeah,
get over it, move forward, and that's a very easy opinion to take, especially if you're
on ESPN. If you work for ESPN,
if you're anti-FSU to begin with, then it's low hanging fruit,
right?
But the big picture, and I had an ACC fan come off on me on Twitter, X, whatever it is. Saying I love the fact that it was an ACC team that got eliminated, and it was an ACC athletic director that was a part of it. I love it, and I'm thinking, that's very detrimental to your own conference. You guys just shot yourselves. What are you like? So let's say you're an NC State fan and you think it's hilarious that Blue Oregon was part of this community. Okay, well, you just took a crap on your own brand,
exactly.
buddy. You guys, and all Sunday night on selection day, all Sunday night, we had no bowl matchups announced involving ACC teams because they were scrambling to fix the ripple effect of FSU missing the playoff. It was supposed to be Duke playing here in the Gasparilla Bowl against UCF. All the games had to get changed, and the team that really lost out was Louisville, because Louisville was penciled in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, that's
before the selection show. So Louisville, I don't know where Louisville's playing now, but Louisville loses out on the Orange
Gator Bowl, I think, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know, but
one of those meaningless bowls like the Orange Bowl now.
This is the survival of the ACC at stake, and to me, it's not going to end well for the ACC. That's why I'm adamant about Florida State getting the hell out of there.
They'll be in the Big Ten. They're going to announce they're going to the Big Ten right before the 2024 season. That's why I don't think tomorrow I think has to do with maybe they found a smoking gun, because they're there. There's no doubt in my mind this was a conspiracy against the Florida State. They were never getting in. The narrative started a month before Jordan Travis got hurt. It's all the evidence is all over the wall. Feinbaum said everybody hates FSU. That's why they didn't get in. Desmond Howard saying they weren't pretty. They were a ratings loser. That's why they didn't get in. Well, we've never used that standard before. So and then all the behind the scenes politics that were anti FSU, for money reasons and promoting the SEC brand. It's plain as day. And if it happened to any other team, they'd be whining too. They'd be whining too. So all those people out there to say shut up, you'd be like, okay.
I did read a
Mike Wilbon. If it was Northwestern, you'd be the biggest whiner there is.
I did read a columnist who was kind of taking a position of, it's very easy to have empathy turn on you from the court of public opinion, which I think it has in some ways against FSU. He goes, even I'm in a position where I'm like, I don't know what else is to gain out of this. Just let it go. But then he finished it up with, but aren't you a little curious about what happened in that meeting?
Oh, hell
That
yeah.
was, I mean,
Yeah.
even if
If
you
we got the real
despise,
notes, if we got
yeah,
the real emails and the real,
if you
it'd be so funny.
despise, if you hate Florida State with all your heart, and you're laughing and you think this is the most hysterical thing you've ever seen, aren't you a little curious about what happened in that meeting? Just a little, because it could be any team in the same position.
Absolutely. 100%. All right, buddy. I'm going to let you go. Thanks for your time. As always fun to chat with you. So relaxed out there on the
Oh
on the
man,
lanai. Love that
dude,
word.
it's
On
like
your lanai.
68, man. It's awesome out
Perfect. That's
here.
perfect. All
Yes,
right.
exactly.
But
Beautiful.
promote what's coming up on News Channel 8.
Well, this week we got through the beginning of National Signing Day, the early period.
Yes.
Started yesterday, continues to Friday. A lot of neat stories nationwide. Lesson flipping. Florida State lost a guy at the last second to Georgia.
Again.
So we go over to Largo yesterday for a player, two-way player that was going to go to Florida. And I was curious about him signing with Florida because Napier's on the hot seat. The Gators' schedule next year is a monster. And I just wanted to hear, let's hear what he has to say about it. So what does he do? He flips at his signing ceremony and goes to Miami. It's a
Bastard. Bastard.
Oh, man, it's tremendous TV. I've covered a million
good
of these.
stuff.
I've covered
Good
a
stuff.
million signing day stories. I've never seen a kid flip at the last second. It's tremendous television.
Yeah, it is.
I hope
was
his
like,
family. I hope I hope he's making the right decision. If he doesn't, he can just transfer in a year. Who cares?
Exactly.
But,
That's why none of these things mean anything anyway now. It's
exactly.
and I say
exactly.
that bastard I'm joking, of course. I wish the
Yeah,
kid all the best luck. I hope he's the best player in the history of Miami football. I'm rooting for you. Go get him. Maybe you take a week off against FSU though.
But
all right, Dale.
winner got Lightning back home this week, and good, but a big refreshing win against St. Louis. And now you got one of the hottest teams in the league coming in here, and you just got to figure out a way to rack up points at home. That's how they're going to have to get over this hump a little bit. They're not a playoff team yet right now, JP. They're mathematically not alive, so they got to make December and January count. They will. I have confidence. So.
All right, Dano. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right, JP, if I don't see you, have a great Christmas.
Yes.
And we'll see you after all the shenanigans of the bowl games.
I'll bring you some lasagna and meatballs.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Please. But no meatballs. Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. The great Dan Lucas there, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Quick break. When we come back, Patrick Burnham's going to join us from the Osceola. He's been following this recruiting stuff since he was in the womb. So we will get the experience of all that stuff, FSU, when we come back. Quick break. Stay with us. Are you tired of those stuffy, overpriced sports bars? Well, come join the fun at the Patio in South Tampa and watch your favorite football teams under the stars in a tropical paradise. Yeah, it's a unique setting with huge wood decks beneath the trees, and don't worry, they have an inside AC bar with all your favorite bar games as well. The Patio has all the NFL and UFC sports packages, and it's home to the Tampa Gator Club and Bills Mafia, but all fans are welcome at any time. Hey, my FSU buddies love to watch the Noles at the Patio. It's also home to a great happy hour. Weekdays get $4 White Claw vodka drinks and $4 White Claw seltzers, $1 off all beer and wine from 3 to 7:30. And every Friday happy hour, join us for Football Friday. It's our live broadcast from 5 to 7 with tons of specials and the fan mic for you to join the show. We'll have swag and ticket giveaways as well. So come out for the live broadcast 5 to 7 every Friday at the Patio and come watch football in a tropical paradise all season long. It's 421 South McDill, just a few blocks south of Kennedy. Everyone meets at the Patio.
Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to GeddesGordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you here by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Scott Jeeves, big Gator fan. I'm sure he's not happy with that recruiting class. So we'll see when we talk to him next time. But you need to talk to him if you get in an accident. He has an office in St. Pete and one in Tampa. He's local. He will chat with you, sit down with you. They're big enough to go toe to toe with any insurance industry in the land, but they're small enough to call you back. So Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. All right, we're going to welcome in our good friend from the Osceola, the Rivals Network, Pat Burnham, who's been covering FSU recruiting, as I said, since he's been in the womb. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Good, JP. Can you hear me? I think we might have a bad connection. I'm in the
No, we got a good connection right now. Where are you? Oh, there he goes. He's done. He's circling the drain. We might not have him. Da-da-da. Well, as we wait for him to come back and he circles the drain, I will tell you that Florida State's class, depending on who you go with, the Rivals Network had FSU at number 5. Oh, I heard the pop. That means he might be back. He's back. We'll try it one more time. There you are. Wherever you are, that's good. Where are you now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? We see you. You look good. Nope. Can't hear me. Nope. He's gone. All right. We'll table this for tomorrow. Let me just text him real quick here because I can't multitask anymore. Get you tomorrow, Pat. Maybe if you're available. That's sometimes the way it goes. So, all right, he's gonna try to get some Wi-Fi, so we'll try to do that. Anyway, in the meantime, I'm sorry, this is terrible radio, but it's just I can't multitask anymore. I can act like I'm multitasking, but I can't do it. Yes, FSU did lose a couple of guys late, and that did not go their way. KJ Bolden, the number 15 overall prospect, number 3 safety, went to Georgia over FSU. Also, the number 41 prospect, Armando Blunt, picked Miami. So 2 tough ones. And Mike Norvell said that yesterday at the press conference, said, I try not to take it personally, but it hurts. It does, because I care about these kids. It's just because they don't choose Florida State doesn't mean I won't care about them. You just don't get to be part of the journey with them. And you never know. It's like Marvin Jones Jr., who was hotly contested by FSU and Georgia, chose Georgia, played there a couple of years, and now has transferred back to Florida State. So you always want to keep great relationships with these kids, even though they don't choose you at first. They might choose you later. So that's the great thing about the transfer portal these days. So yeah, but still, FSU also didn't get 5-star receiver Jeremiah Smith, who was betrothed to Ohio State, and FSU came in late and was real strong with him. Thought he might get him, but did not. But FSU still has Dustin Hill, Hakeem Williams, a 5-star. They're loaded at receiver, so I don't think that's going to hit them too bad. Seminoles flip 4-star tight end Landon Thomas from Georgia in April, so he signed, considered the number 1 tight end in the nation. So certainly that's pretty good. They got Kai Bates, 4-star defensive back, who was committed to LSU. They flipped him. Manes, I don't know how to pronounce this, Manes Ateti from USC in July. They got him to flip. So another good offensive lineman, 3-star offensive lineman. Jamari Howard, 4-star corner, originally committed to Michigan State. He picked FSU. So no 5-stars in the FSU class. 15 are 4-star recruits, and 5-star, 4-star. You're in that neighborhood. You're doing okay. They got a quarterback, Luke Kromenok. I'm not sure if we're saying that correctly. He's recruited for him a long, long time ago, and he's, the quarterback's going to be an interesting situation for Florida State moving forward. All right, looks like Pat's found some Wi-Fi. Let's see if we can get him in here. All right, you got some good Wi-Fi there. Was that a Chick-fil-A?
It is a Chick-fil-A.
I knew it. By the ceiling tiles, I could tell it was a Chick-fil-A.
In Bainbridge, Georgia, the home of Kirby Smart.
Oh, my God, we're at Bainbridge. Hey, I know the mayor there, Mark Harrell. Tell him I said hello. The great Harrell brothers. Yes, we're.
Listen, I only stopped because of you, JP. My stay in Bainbridge is not going to be long.
Wait a minute. You can't. I know you're getting the 5-strip meal and that caramel chocolate shake they have there. So I know it's not just me. You might be. You go ahead and order while you're doing this too. That's fine too.
Hey, listen, I was trying to get to Gainesville, Georgia as quick as I could. When I got your text, I was like, well, I'll hit Bainbridge about the same time as a JP call. So
all right, we'll keep it short.
Listen, I got all day to get there, buddy.
Hey, those are two of my favorite places, by the way, Gainesville, Georgia, and Bainbridge, Georgia. I have longtime friends in both of them, so great.
Yeah, there's almost no chance I'm not leaving without something. You're right about that.
I'm sending you a gift card when we're done with this. Hey, you got your bowl stuff on. I like that too. So
they got a bowl game. They got a bowl game today, JP, against Syracuse, and it's cold. And this might be my favorite. This might be the longest bowl gift I've ever. We got this when we played Clemson in the Meineke Bowl in 2009, and I've had it ever since. It is one of my favorite cold weather jackets.
Arguably the greatest bowl win in USF history, I would say.
We beat a Clemson team that went on the next year to be very, very good. In that bowl game, and we actually got after them pretty good. We were up like 36-17, and they kind of made a little run in the fourth quarter to kind of. I think it ended up being 36-29, if I remember correctly. But unfortunately, we didn't follow it up in 2010 with 2011 with a very good year. But that was a fun bowl game and a fun memory.
Yeah, good stuff. And they'll play again tonight against Syracuse, and I got the Bulls in this one. The give a shiz factor heavily in the USF camp because I don't think Syracuse they've enjoyed the weather. That's about it. All right, so let's jump in on this FSU class. A lot of people are dumping on it because of the guys they didn't get, but they got 15 four stars of the 21. That seems pretty good to me. What are your thoughts on the overall class?
Well, listen, you got a top 11 class as it stands now. Is it the number 3 class that they went into the day with, or number 5? I can't remember. That number was fluid as the signees came in. But listen, there was no reason for people to be upset about Armando Blunt. That guy was gone from the day he didn't step on campus last Friday. That was never going to happen. Unfortunately, listen, this is a new era. This is a different time in college football, JP. We can't look at recruiting the same way we used to.
Right.
These are business decisions. These kids are going to leverage every hour, every minute of between every college. And I think that's kind of what we saw with KJ Bolden yesterday. There were rumors that he might be out of the class. He said all the right things and he did all the right things. Fish and I, the other recruiting analyst for the Osceola, we always say it's not about what kids say, it's about what they do.
Right.
And KJ had been on campus a tremendous amount. He had said FSU was his dream school. But listen, when he went to that unofficial visit to Auburn, obviously he let you know that his recruitment was still open.
Right.
There was more smoke about Auburn than there was Georgia, but you knew Georgia was not going to just lay off the top kid in that state or one of the top kids in that state. And then listen, I've got a niece that goes to Georgia, and she called me before I jumped on your show. And, she made, for a 20-year-old, she's pretty smart. She goes, when Raiola left to go to Nebraska, it opened up the pocketbook for Georgia. And, so that was probably a part of why this happened. But listen, I think it's still a very good class. Are you disappointed that KJ did what he did and how he did it? Probably. You have every right to be, but this is a business now, and these kids are leveraging colleges one against the other. And unfortunately, but listen, we were on campus Sunday when he left from his official visit, JP. Mm-hmm. And KJ had always been very good about speaking with us when he was on campus, always had a good attitude about it. You could tell something was amiss when we tried to do the interview with him. Our guys were interviewing him. I can't remember if it was Nick or Kurt, but one of them was interviewing him with the other recruiting services. And his grandmother, about a minute and a half came into the interview, and said, listen, we got to go. And that was different for KJ. He was happy to talk or wanted to talk or wasn't afraid to talk, one of the two. I give him credit for that.
Right.
And then so he goes and gets in the car. Then he gets back out of the car, and he gets asked two very direct questions: Are you gonna sign with FSU, and are you gonna go take a last-minute visit to Auburn? Which was really not a great question to ask, because the only way he could he would have to go to Tallahassee to Auburn, and FSU was taking him home in the car service, so that was never going to happen.
Right.
The media should have been able to figure that out before they even asked the question, but they didn't. But anyway, but he was kind of frustrated with the question. That's the first time I'd ever seen KJ frustrated. So when he left there, I told our guys, I said, listen, guys, I'm not saying he's not going to sign with Florida State, but I'm just telling you there's some gray area there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but listen, he was a hell of a football player, was one of those guys that could probably come in and help contribute next year. It's disappointing that Florida State lost him, but listen, you can't cry over what you never had in the first place, right?
That's right.
And I tell people all the time, don't fall in love with commitments.
Right.
That they're not binding. The kids still have the right to change them. You've been following college football recruiting for a long time, JP. I don't remember there being more flips than there were yesterday. I mean, there were a ton of kids. I mean,
and
Florida
it's just money. It's just money. It's like you said, you do your best thing. And I would like to be in one of these NIL war rooms right now. Can you imagine what that's like on signing day when, and Florida State, I'm sure, has one where they're just, they got a pot of money sitting in front of them, whatever it is, right? And they've got, offers out to all these guys. And I'm just imagining what this is like. KJ, what does KJ's agent say? All right, Georgia's offering $1.2 million.
Yep.
Can you come up to 1.3? I mean, is that what's going on here? I mean, I'm guessing that's what's happening. Is it KJ himself saying on the phone with Mike Norvell going, I'm going to need a couple $100,000 more? I mean, it sounds preposterous, but I'm guessing this is what's going on, right?
I can't speak to KJ, but I was reading some up on Jeremiah Smith today, another kid that Florida State thought they were in play with. There were too many. There were too many stories out there for me to believe there was any reality to that.
It's just leverage.
And so he's talking. There was an article written by Manny Navarro, who works for one of the news media outlets down there, who talks about KJ's agent or people or representative, however you want to term it, wanted to make sure they had everything in writing. So is that happening? Yes. I'd never seen somebody be so public about it. I did not think that colleges could negotiate technically, publicly, could negotiate NIL deals with guys that were not on campus yet. So there could be some ripple effects from that. I don't know. My understanding was a kid to sign an NIL deal had to be a student. Now this is not Pollyanna. We all know that these things are going on behind closed doors, right?
Of course, yeah, because it's not allowed. Yeah.
But to your point, yes, that's what some of these. And listen, whether it's the portal or NIL, sometimes I think these kids are just throwing out numbers, hoping that they're going to get the college that's recruiting them or the college that they're at to bite. And that's one of the problems with this, JP. Florida State. All right, if you get a kid that goes into the Florida State office and said, "I've been offered $200,000 by so and so,"
right?
You don't have any choice but either take him at his word,
right,
or not. And if you don't, then he walks. So I don't listen. I think Chip Kelly's right. I don't know if you saw what he said the other day, but I think he's right. Let's go to a 64 team. I always thought it would be 84 or 96, something like that. But let's go to a 64 Power 5 league and then a 64 Group of 5 league and the Power 5 league, or whatever you want to call it, the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and whatever's going to become of the ACC and the 2 Pac-12 teams. Let those guys operate under the same rules, get a salary cap. I mean, Chip Kelly's right. It's the most, and he's talking about everybody working under one TV contract. That way, all the money's going into one pot.
Right.
And then it makes too much sense, really, to be honest with you. And so it'll never happen. But
exactly,
it's what should happen, but it won't.
Right.
It won't. But yeah, listen, I think it's hard. I think it's hard for these guys. First of all, the calendar for college football recruiting, lining up with the portal and the bowl games and the playoffs, is just ridiculous. They've got to do something with the calendar. I don't know what they do.
It's so stupid to do this now. It's so dumb.
Could you imagine what Mike Norvell is having to go, and his staff are having to go through? I mean, he's having to recruit a class. He's having to prepare a team for a bowl game after getting some rather bad news about the college football playoff, and then he's having to re-recruit his own roster. That's a lot for one staff to do, and at the end of the day, Mike's got to be the guy that makes all those decisions or sign off on all those decisions. So I imagine Mike's going to be happy when the month of December is gone.
Oh my God, yeah, and ain't no Santa Claus coming his way. And think about these teams in the playoffs. I mean, this would be like between the Super Bowl week, right, for an NFL team having to do free agency and the draft at the same time. Like, think of it, right? How ridiculous would that be? But this is what we're forcing these coaches and these programs to do with an absolute no rules, no holds barred NIL agenda where nobody knows what the freaking rules are or what the numbers are or any. I mean, I can't even imagine what it's like being a college coach at this time, and your life, your whole lifestyle depends upon 17 and 18-year-olds making $1 million decisions. Now, I mean, it's so
hey, listen, I was talking
so effed up. It's not.
I was
funny.
talking to somebody down there at the Moore building one day, and I can't remember exactly what the term they used was, but it was similar to "it's a circus."
Cluster Fazoli.
Yes,
I think is what they probably said.
Yeah, like it's wild. I mean, it really is. And then listen, JP, it's not. And for Florida State and all these teams that are going to bowls, the kids have an extra 5 days after their bowl game to, if the portal window has closed I think Florida State plays their bowl game within the portal window, but irregardless, if you're playing in a bowl game, after the bowl game, your kids have 5 days to enter the portal after that. So even after you play in a bowl game, whether you're Florida State or Alabama or whoever,
it ain't over.
You still got to work, and so you got a backup that goes into that game. You're Florida State, and he has a great game. All of a sudden, I want to test the market for the next 5 days. I mean,
it's crazy.
It's crazy, and listen, gives us a lot to talk about. I'll give it that.
Hey, before you go get your 4 strips and the waffle fries, I got to tap into your tremendous knowledge of actual football and what these players can do. And I'm getting comments and questions like, "Hey, tell us about the players," because And can we start with the quarterback, Luke Kromenhoek? How do you pronounce his last name, first of all?
Luke Kromenhoek.
Kromenhoek.
Kromenhoek. And Luke is first of all, it's just a quick story. I didn't realize this until Luke came on campus, but I've known his father since 1998. When my brother was coaching at Richmond, I used to go to John Kromenhoek's and his wife's Halloween parties. So
there you go.
Football makes for a small world.
Yes, it does.
But hey, I think Florida State fans are going to be fired up about Luke. I went back, I've watched his film several times, but I went back and watched it again on yesterday after he signed. Just you want to keep it fresh on your eyes. And I think Florida State fans are going to be very impressed with what they're getting in Luke. First of all, the thing that stands out to me about Luke is he's very tough.
Yeah.
You go back and watch his state championship game as a junior, and he's not getting any help from his offensive line. He's single-handedly keeping his team in the game. He is a mentally and physically tough kid. He's got a lot of great physical qualities. He will stand in the pocket. He will deliver. He will take a hit. He is going to be a lot more athletic than people think he is. He is very accurate when throwing on the run. He is not going to remind you of Jordan Travis as far as change of direction, but his straight line speed is very good. This is probably a kid that if he didn't play quarterback might be a really good wide receiver. If he had not, but he's going to surprise people. He's long, lanky. He's about 6'3", 6'4", but got some natural born leadership into him as you've seen him lead. If he's led this class and been the spokesperson of this class, and then of course he's the exact opposite of KJ Bolden as far as he was a man of his word. Jordan, we talked to him last night on our recruiting recap show. He came on live with us, and I said, "Listen, you put out a tweet about loyalty. I'm assuming that was about Georgia coming in late." He goes, "Well, yeah." He goes, "I wasn't going to go there." He goes, "It kind of pissed me off that they came in that late and offered me. They could have offered, I've walked." He goes, "When I was younger, I walked away from that campus 2 or 3 times without an offer, thinking I was going to get one." And he goes, "But no, I was never going to change my mind once I was committed to Florida State." So you got some kid that's got a lot of physical ability, and obviously a lot inside his as a good person, as a guy that wants to be at Florida State, and I think people are going to be very happy about what they see from Luke Kromenhoek.
What about Cam Davis, the number 7 running back now?
Yeah, and I call him Little Herschel. He is similar kind of build to Maurice Jones-Drew.
I love those guys.
He is probably 5'9"-ish, 5'10".
Love him.
He's got thighs like Robert Newhouse from the old Dallas Cowboy days. Earl
Can't
Campbell
tackle those guys.
thing.
Nobody wants to tackle those guys. Nobody.
He is very versatile. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's got change of direction. He's got a power mode to him. And he's got a guy. He's going to be a guy that, the way the roster is currently constructed, going to be a guy that's going to have a chance to come in here and compete for playing time right away.
And the tight end Landon Thomas from Georgia. He's considered the number 1 tight end by some in the class.
Yeah, and probably most importantly, Mike Norvell said that yesterday.
Yeah.
That's who he thought the number 1 tight end was. But yeah, listen, I think Landon's going to have some adjustment. Fish and I kind of disagree on that. He's got potential to be a guy that can play in the slot, line up at wide receiver on the outside. But I think where his adjustment is going to be, what you don't see in high school, JP, is you don't see him as a unit or in tight end as an H-back. You don't see a lot of it anyway. So I think there's going to be an adjustment period for him. Now, if they want to come in and use him as a slot, is he athletic enough to probably come in and play right away or contribute as a true freshman, particularly if he enters early in the spring, which I think he's going to do. I think that's a done deal. But, yeah, he's got a chance to be a really good player. I just think he's got to have some work to do as a blocker, and as you know, Mike likes to use his tight ends in the run game as well as the pass game. So I think that's going to be where he has to, where his learning curve will maybe slow his progress down as far as getting on the field. But listen, he's long, athletic. He's 6'4", 245. Does not look 245. He can run, he can catch. But yeah, I just think it's going to take him a while to develop as a blocker.
And Lester and some of the other guys, give us a quick update on who the top standout guys are you think they can maybe play next year.
Listen, Charles Lester is going to be a guy that can come in and compete. He's fun to watch. He's long. He's athletic. He can run. He can getting his back pedal open up, flip his hips, and he's got great. He can play the trail technique and still catch up with the receiver, contest the ball. Same thing. The guy I really like in the DB room is Jamari Howard. He's got to probably put on a little weight. He's 6'2", 185, but he has got really long arms. Yeah. I saw him in the state playoff games in Tallahassee 2 weeks ago. I'm really fired up to see what he does. Listen, I think I can't wait to see the Jaden Parrish, the linebacker. I think they've got a chance to have he's a guy that can play in the middle, but he's a guy that can run. He played running. He started at running back and linebacker in high school. You don't see that much these days, so he's tough. He can take a hit. He can deliver a hit. Obviously, as a running back, he's got good feet, change direction, but he's really physical. I think he's got a chance to be a sideline-to-sideline guy, and obviously Florida State's done a good job of that over. You got Blake in here now from the last recruiting class. You got some guys that can run at linebacker. If Deloach were to come back, which I don't know if he's made a decision or not, but yeah, I think people are really going to like Jaden Parrish, and then. Listen, I think D.D. Holmes, the defensive end from Maryland, I think he's going to be a guy that's going to grow into a defensive tackle, but he is 6'6", 250 already. Has great football instincts. Is a kid that, he may stay at defensive end. Who knows? You do have he may be a JPP or Kendo type where he can be 6'6", 6'7", and 280 pounds and still play outside on the end. So We'll see how that goes. But yeah, listen, I like I'll tell you the guy that he's been committed for Florida State for so long that nobody's talked about him is Camden Fryer. He's Matt Fryer's son. If you're a Florida State fan, you certainly know the name. Yep. Go watch his huddle highlights. I think he's a guy that, depending on how that receiver room shakes out, I think he's a guy that can come in here and contribute as a true freshman. He is a lot faster than his father.
That's good.
I'll put it to you that
That's
way.
Good.
But you watch him. He runs. He can run these tunnel screens and quick game passes that Mike likes to do. If you marry up his huddle film with what Florida State likes to do on offense, you're gonna be very impressed with Camden Fryer. But yeah, listen, I think at Florida State, the offensive line group's got a chance to be good. Listen, there's always an adjustment for the offensive and defensive linemen. I always say that most offensive linemen are going to redshirt, and I would expect that every one of these guys will redshirt this year. But they signed 4 really good ones. They got some that'll play quicker than others. A TT kid who was born in the Congo, played ball in California. He's really leaned out since we saw him last summer. He was on his official visit last weekend. He's got really good feet. He's just got to get more experience in the game. But I put in my evaluation that if he comes in and hits the weight room and takes to the college coaching, I think he's a guy that could contribute as a redshirt freshman. And then another guy I'll talk about a little bit is Ricky Knight III. I really liked his film as a corner. But yeah, listen, there's not any one player I'd say, well, dang, they probably shouldn't have taken him. Listen, it's a solid class. Yeah. Mike's not done. Then you throw Marvin Jones Jr. into that class. Marvin's going to more than likely be a defensive end. I know he played kind of a hybrid defensive end outside linebacker for Georgia, but that's not how Florida State will use its ends. But he can play in coverage. And listen, they need some help there with losing Verse. I'm assuming that Peyton is Peyton was at practicing yesterday or Tuesday when I was there. So I'm assuming that all that drama is taking care of itself. So
is Cam Ward coming? What do you feel? Cam Ward, Miami or FSU?
Cam Ward, DJU. I think DJU is the better fit personally. For what Mike wants to do on offense and what he's done since going back to his days at Memphis. Jordan was kind of the outlier for Mike as far as a dual threat guy. Now, he's had some good athletes. Quarterback, all quarterbacks are good athletes. I don't care if you want to call even a game manager quarterback, which is my least favorite term when you talk about quarterbacks, because there is no quarterback that's a game manager. They all have a significant impact on the game.
Yes, they do.
But anyway, listen, I think that I think listen, both those kids have decisions to make, and we asked DJ after his visit. It was clear that he had not made a decision yet. I think some of these guys, right now, my read on the situation is there won't be a decision until after the bowl, one way or the other.
Yeah.
I think there may be some legitimate reasons for why they wouldn't take a quarterback till after the bowl, particularly with AJ Duffy already out the door.
Yeah.
I think he is already in San Diego. I could be wrong about that. Anyway, listen. I think that, there may be more quarterbacks that are in the court. Yeah.
All right, my friend. Took too much time already, but I hope you enjoy that 5-strip meal and get the waffle fries on me. Thanks, buddy.
All right, JP. Have a good Christmas.
Yeah, you too.
And by the way, congratulations on the engagement. I saw that on.
That's not official yet, but it's officially on. My official visit is not till Christmas. So
well, that ring looked official.
Yes, it is. Thanks, buddy.
All right, buddy.
Get the cat out of the bag there. I don't know what all that is all about. All right, quick break. When we come back, we got some more recruiting news to get to. I want to talk some more Rays, some more Bolts. The Ray stuff is just flat out hilarious. So we'll get to that. Much more here. We're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Hey, Chris Lugo was on the other day, and if you're battling, some of the head cold stuff like that, get in there to see him. And it's not going to be just about, hey, we'll get you feeling good now. It's going to be, we're going to build up your immune system, make sure you don't get sick. I mean, you're going to go, like you go on a cruise and, you get exposed to a lot of stuff. It's going to happen. But for the most part, we don't want that to happen. And they'll take care of you in that regard. BAMMC.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. And just go there, get your appointment, and get with a doctor, a primary care doctor that will spend time with you and care about what you do in a lifestyle situation. And we get a personal nutrition plan for you, workout plan, all that stuff personally just for you. Bay Area Modern Medical Center. All right, quick break. We'll be back with more right here on the JP Peterson Show.
Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA 2-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com, or call 813-485-6808. Are you tired of those stuffy, overpriced sports bars? Well, come join the fun at the Patio in South Tampa and watch your favorite football teams under the stars in a tropical paradise. Yeah, it's a unique setting with huge wood decks beneath the trees, and don't worry, they have an inside AC bar with all your favorite bar games as well. The Patio has all the NFL and UFC sports packages, and it's home to the Tampa Gator Club and Bills Mafia, but all fans are welcome at any time. Hey, my FSU buddies love to watch the Noles at the patio. It's also home to a great happy hour. Weekdays get $4 White Claw vodka drinks and $4 White Claw seltzers, dollar off all beer and wine from 3 to 7:30. And every Friday happy hour, join us for Football Friday. It's our live broadcast from 5 to 7 with tons of specials and the fan mic for you to join the show. We'll have swag and ticket giveaways as well. So come out for the live broadcast 5 to 7 every Friday at the patio and come watch football in a tropical paradise all season long. It's 421 South McDill, just a few blocks south of Kennedy. Everyone meets at the patio.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Flying solo today as we roll through on this beautiful Thursday. Brought to you by the great folks at the Golden Diamond Source. You got any late time shopping? You haven't done all your shopping? You know what, folks? Like it's so easy just to go into the Golden Diamond Source. And they have the staff there. You know, I went into places last night, not jewelry places. Stuff is all picked over, man. They're not restocking the shelves. You don't have to worry about that. The Golden Diamond Source, everything. They've got such an inventory. They just keep bringing it out. You got the best prices. And by the way, if something goes wrong, she doesn't like it, you know where you bring it back. They'll give you credit, everything you need. In fact, they'll give you, after the holidays, there'll be even more sales going on. So it's a place that's not going away. And if you're going to buy jewelry, folks, you've got to go to the Golden Diamond Source because you don't know what you're getting when you go other places, right? You don't know. Now, they could tell you it's got this cut and this clarity and everything else. You don't know. And you don't know if the price is right. You got to go with someone you can trust. And who better than Julie and Steve Weintraub, who have been here for decades at the same place, have an impeccable reputation within the community, supporting the community all the time. And they got the best customer service. And they have 0% interest, 3 to 5 years going on right now, which will save you tons and tons of money. So there is no other choice. Golden Diamond Source for your last minute gifts. Get on over there. Easy parking, in and out, stock shelves. They'll wrap it up for you. So you don't have to wrap it. You know, you don't want to wrap it. She don't want to see you wrap it, right? Let them do it. Great presentation. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, and online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. All right, want to get to call the comments today. Sorry, I've been ignoring you guys, but we've had some guests on, and I'm going solo, so sometimes it's hard. Buck's Basement says, I hope Bowles realizes by not holding White accountable and, in fact, rewarding him by starting him over Britt, who has played better, will come back to bite him in the ass. Could cost him his job. You know what? Buck's Basement, he clearly does not realize that. And it's sad. It's sad because we love Todd Bowles, and he's got it going right now. The team has, despite some of the missteps, the team believes in him. They're still with him. But I'm telling you, this, if he starts him over KJ, which I think he will, if he's out there, I just don't get it. Keg says, I'm 56. Us old folks need to stick together. Yeah, a lot of old school values that just don't hold up anymore, man. At least they're not. They're timeless. Old school values are timeless. They work for thousands of years. This new school bullshit crap that's going on doesn't, and people will see that soon if they haven't seen it already. Christopher Cole says, unbelievable. ESPN now has Mad Dog Russo spewing that FSU doesn't belong in the top 4. It's just it's mind numbing that people can't see. And I know I'm an FSU guy. But if you objectively look at the situation, all right, they put in teams like TCU with a loss before, who beat Michigan, by the way. Go back and look at some of the teams that have made it through. And Cincinnati, they're not even in a Power 5 conference. They had one win, but they were undefeated, so they put them through, right? We could go on and on with teams that didn't have the resume of Florida State. And the defensive players that are going to get drafted. Come on. I'm not sitting here saying that FSU was going to win the national championship, but they could go toe-to-toe with Michigan, certainly go toe-to-toe with Alabama, Washington, Texas, any of them. Because, we've gone on. It's, to me, though, it's the blatant conflict of interest. And I think people don't understand this. ESPN handpicks the people on the committee. Boo Corrigan. They handpick half of these people, have no idea what end of the football is which. Okay. And they're voting for the most important things. And none of it is transparent. It's all by secret ballot. Why? It's football. Why is this not done in the open? Why? Because if they did it in the open, they would be exposed. They couldn't control it. There couldn't be as much corruption, right? ESPN controls the whole situation. So for their commentators to get on here and try to make these arguments and to act like this college football playoff committee has some autonomy and the whole dog and pony show that is the committee, it's a joke. It's a joke. And they've proven that. And with all their comments afterwards. And you know what? As I was listening to Timmy Brando, who I love, and I'm going to try to get him on to talk about this. He said, ESPN should be ashamed of themselves. And he made the point that another network, Fox, needs to be part of this postseason package because it's a conflict of interest. And Fox is going to pretty much wrap up the Big Ten and what's left of the Pac-12. And they're going to have that college football package. And the SEC, it's going to be what it is with ESPN. So ESPN, who owns the college football playoff, right, has all the power, and it's in this committee, says no to FSU, but yes to Alabama and Texas, who's coming into the SEC. They're financially invested in the SEC moving forward. So why wouldn't they? And they know that FSU wants to go to the Big Ten, which will be a Fox property. And the money that they're making off of FSU, if they can get out of this ridiculous grant and rights to ESPN, they won't get that anymore. So there is a huge conflict of interest here. This would be like you going into court and the judge is married to your ex. This is how incestuous this is. FSU was never going to get a fair shake. And anybody on their air that dares say anything else, and this is why I have so much respect for Booger McFarland. Booger McFarland was the only one on that dais, and I think Robert Griffin III as well, in spineless Greg McElroy, who 3 days before is stumping for FSU because he's played the game and understands that it's not always about the quarterback. Duh. Was stumping, and then as soon as he gets the memo, no, you don't need to. And I haven't had a chance to talk to Booger about this, but I'm sure he's seen the memos. And he was out. He was out. He was out on his own, supporting FSU. And God bless him, doing God's work. None of the rest of them had the cojones to do it. And he did the right thing. So God bless him. But I just don't understand. Now Christopher's like, now they got Mad Dog out there doing it. They're all shills. They're all shills for their company. And it's all corruption. It's disgusting. And now it's infecting our college football. Greg Cruz says, I grew up with coaches like Parcells, Ditka, and Buddy Ryan. Hard to believe that this white situation would happen in that era. This kindler, gentle NFL is frustrating at times. Yeah, man. It's like Dan Lucas said, this is show business, not show friends. And, I understand the compassion of which Todd Bowles looks at Devin White, who lost his father in prison. And it's just, I get it. But, there's a hierarchy. It's got to be a meritocracy in football. You can't play favorites and you can't enable guys, especially guys who's already, look how much he supported Devin White over the years. And look what Devin did in this offseason with all his stupid shenanigans on social media and demanding a trade. And then we go through the same thing. They put him out there, told him what to say for the season. He went out there and said it. And, I bought into it. I said, okay, if you're going to say all the right things and go do and play, good. But he didn't play. He didn't play hard. He didn't play for the team. He ran out of bounds when he had a chance to run over Jalen Hurts. That's not team ball. Didn't want to upset the Eagle friends, maybe that he'll soon be teammates with, he thinks. I don't know. That ain't team ball. That's not playing hard. You won't even try to run over a quarterback on a pick six to win a game. Because you're, quote, hurt. If you're hurt, get off the field. You think Parcells, Ditka, Buddy Ryan, or Bruce Arians would put up with this shenanigans? No. And Bruce didn't. Look what, when Antonio Brown pulled his shenanigans, if Todd Bowles was the head coach then, what do you think? You think he would have he would have said, "Oh, come on back, Antonio," and he'd have done the same thing again sometime else. It's like, dude, he's not going to change. You might get one good game out of him, but in the long run, it's all about Devin White. And to enable him sends a message to the rest of your team that it's not about a meritocracy. I don't get it. John Hill says he plans on attending Saturday Tampa Boat Parade since you are the Grand Marshal in your green elf suit or bust. I ain't wearing that. Maybe I'll wear it. I got to wear it again tonight for the Bolts game. Still contemplating that, by the way. But we'll see. But thank you for coming out Saturday night. By the way, Tampa Riverwalk Boat Parade. Still can get involved. Just Google the Tampa Boat Parade. I think it's $95 per boat. Great prizes going to be given away. It's going to be a great time had by all. They got a VIP at the Tampa Convention Center and a great viewing area for the boat parade. So if you're looking for something to do for Christmas, and they got foods and drinks and all that stuff included at the boat parade. So that's going to be super fun. So just Google the Tampa Boat Parade. I think it's tampaboatparade.com or tampariverwalk.com, one of those things. Yes, I will be the Grand Marshal. Very excited about that. What an honor. But I don't think I can wear the elf suit. I just can't do it. Bulls butchered the Devin White issue while team officials clearly told Rick Stroud and others a different story. Yeah, and you know why that is because the organization is not on board with the way Todd Bowles is handling this. There's a rift, no question. And that's not good. That is not good. Merry Christmas to you, Nathan Elliott. Appreciate you, my man. I know you've come in here. Need to start KJ Britt. You're absolutely 1,000% right. And David Moore, quickly, he was Seattle player prior to coming to yes, knows the offense, has been with Canales. Where has he been? Another terrible dropping of the ball in terms of personnel, guys that should have been playing. Look, we all hope Trey Palmer's going to grow into a good receiver. He's not there yet. He's not answering the bell. He's not making contested catches that he needs to make. David Moore did that and more last week. He's got to be your number 3 moving forward. But this is the team that moves at a glacial pace when it comes to making needed personnel changes. Do the right thing. David Moore's your number 3 the rest of the way going forward. Is this true? I know they're activating him off the injured list, but I thought Aaron said the other day that he wasn't going to play. It's not realistic. I'll have to check on this. But maybe when he heard Colin Cowherd laughing at him for believing that he could come back this year and scoffing at him, mostly for his views, correct views, by the way, on the vaccine. Maybe he said, screw it, I'm coming back to play, just to stick it in Colin Cowherd's face, which I would love to see. AJP, why is FSU being criticized for having an emergency meeting? Because people want to criticize them about everything, and most of it's coming from ESPN because they have a conflict of interest and they're going to bust on Florida State any chance they get. Go read this stupid article that they put up today. It's full of misinformation. It's terrible. What else we got here from Gorilla Shop? Welcome to the show, buddy. Notice the same thing when it's a home game. The defense plays a soft zone defense. Yeah, Bowles just seems to be much more conservative at home, and they've scored 15 points a game, I think, at home, 24 points on the road. Huge disparity. He's got to keep coaching the way he coached at Green Bay, but I don't think that's going to happen. James, I think we covered the quarterback and Marvin Jones Jr. All right, I'm going to get to the rest of these comments here in just a second. I got to take one more break. Appreciate you guys staying in here today. So quick break, come back. We'll finish things up and look ahead to Friday's show. Stay with us.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on TrueBody and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Hey, the holidays are almost here, so take advantage of our layaway offer at the Gold and Diamond Source. Reserve your favorite piece now and pay in easy installments, making your holiday shopping stress-free. And engagement season is here as well, and we've got the largest selection of engagement rings, so visit us to find that perfect ring for that special moment. Looking for financing options? How big a ring can you get when we give you 3 to 5 years interest-free financing to make your dream jewelry more affordable? So this November, make sure you choose the Gold and Diamond Source for jewelry that's always stylish and unique, because your special someone deserves something to be thankful for, right? Find the perfect gift at the Gold and Diamond Source. Don't settle for factory-made imitations, folks. Make sure it's a Gold and Diamond Source diamond for a truly special piece of jewelry. It's the best folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source, 4800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here. Just a couple more minutes. Just wanted to give a shout out to all my Lightning brethren tonight. Greg Wolf and all of our folks will be doing the holiday thing again tonight. If you'd like to see me wearing the Buddy the Elf costume, which I think is worth the price of admission, you got to get there. You got to get there, buddy. Come on down. We got the Golden Knights coming in tonight, and good seats still available. So join us. Should be fun. This Golden Knights team got their ass handed to them by Carolina a couple nights ago. Of course, the Bolts coming off a big 6-1 win over St. Louis. Not sure if Sergey's going to play tonight. He took a puck in the back of the heel, so he might be out. The Golden Knights are obviously a very, very good hockey team. So we'll see. That should be a good one tonight. 7:00 puck drop. James jumping in here today says ESPN is CNN of sports media, so that's what many people are saying. Get over it. Some people are so gullible, it's stunning. Just look at what happened in Colorado with Trump, and yet people don't care. Yeah, how about that? It's just unbelievable. I don't care where you are from a politics standpoint, man. Now we're taking our political opponents off the ballot. Just absolutely ridiculous on so many levels. Thank you, Nathan. Great job with the guests. Very informative. They are the best guests. We were hoping to have Sal Palantonio on today. He wanted to come on, but he can only do by phone, and I am limited today by my technology since I'm solo. But we hope to get him on at another time. So maybe next week. He's going to be doing the game for ESPN. It's a big game, 4:00, obviously on Sunday. We'll do a lot more preview tomorrow on that game. Maybe might be able to get him on tomorrow. I know he's traveling, but we'll see. Nathan also says the Bucks lose to the Jags because he puts White in the game as a starter and he misses plays. It very well could cost Bowles his job. Absolutely. 100%. What happens if FSU loses to Georgia? Nothing. Nobody cares anymore. I mean, FSU, their players, half their team and their best players, Jared Verse, Trey Benson, Johnny Wilson, they're all not playing. They're going to the NFL because the game is meaningless now. So, yeah, when FSU loses to Georgia, which a lot of their players are playing, I know Brock Bowers hasn't said yet, They just don't have as many guys going to the NFL as they've had in years past, I guess. Or at least they're paying their players to play in the game. I don't know. But Georgia hasn't had nearly as many defections as FSU has had. So the game is meaningless. FSU would have to have their full complement of players. So I'm not putting anything. And I'm sure if they get their ass beat, people will say, yes, because they just want to. And it'll be ESPN's narrative. Don't give a crap. It is what it is. By the way, Michigan being investigated by the NCAA, shocking development. But yeah, they're the number one team. Yeah, we're not going to we're not going to punish them in any way, even though their numbers before they hired Connor Stallion were pedestrian at best, and since hiring him have been off the charts. The only team they didn't scout last year from Connor Stallion was TCU, the team they lost to. You're going to get their ass handed to them by Alabama, and then people might say, oh, maybe Michigan should have been the team that was out. Yeah, you think? Duh. Yes, they should have been the team that was out. Yes, by the way, the Board of Trustees meeting for FSU getting a lot of play now. It is going to be concerning their exit at some – and by the way, it's going to be public, unlike the college football open air. That could be but that's got to be secret. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Thank you all for chiming in. Appreciate you, Nathan, James, Thomas, everybody. Great comments today. We'll be back tomorrow. Nick Geddes will be joining me. So we'll have all the usual characters and be looking ahead to the Jaguars-Bucks game and what comes out of the FSU meeting as well. So we will see you then. Have a great day, everybody.